So these right here are 3 fights we need to see in 2025. Not wants, needs. Let's start off with Dricus du Plessis, the current middleweight champion. We all know who he should be fighting next. It's the rematch with Israel Adesanya. Now look, before people get on at me in the comments, Israel Adesanya was winning that matchup. If you go back and rewatch it, Israel Adesanya was on his way to beating Dricus du Plessis by decision. Unfortunately, something was wrong with the canvas that night. He slipped, then he got caught and choked out. These things happen, but I think we can all agree that Adesanya does deserve an immediate title rematch. No, in all seriousness, this is Khamzat Chimaev. I'm glad I put that in at the start because I can't wait to read the comments of people who've only watched like 10 seconds and cry about it. That was for those guys. But right enough, we need to see DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. I think we will see this fight. Unfortunately, I don't think we see it before he fights Sean Strickland, which is annoying because after what Khamzat Chimaev done to Robert Whittaker, I feel like he should definitely skip up Sean Strickland because I don't really understand why Sean Strickland feels like he should be so entitled to this immediate rematch. I mean, the guy beat Israel Adesanya, great win, one of the greatest middleweights of all time, a top 10 of all time fighter in my opinion. He beat him, then he lost to DDP. He didn't get a single title defense, not one. He then went on and beat Paulo Costa in a very, very boring matchup, let's be honest. That was a shit fight, it was crap. He beat Paulo Costa, like I said, but let's not forget that Robert Whittaker had also beaten Paulo Costa before Sean Strickland beat him. Let's keep that in mind. And then since then he's done nothing but cry on Twitter and just kind of be like he's not fighting unless it's for the title. And for some reason the UFC are allowing this. For me, I would much rather see them skip up Sean Strickland, but I don't think they're going to. But I do think DDP will knock out Strickland in their rematch, and I feel like this is the fight to make after that. Obviously, Khamzat Chimaev, DDP. Look, I'm going to be honest, Khamzat, in my opinion, is probably the best first-round fighter we have ever seen in the UFC, in my opinion. But I think DDP is the guy that can beat him, because DDP... Now, how DDP will look defending the takedown from Khamzat Chimaev, I don't know if anyone can defend Khamzat's first shot, first takedown, especially in the first round. I feel like that's just probably impossible. He's got some sort of cheats on when it comes to the first round shooting takedowns. Kind of impossible to stop. But I feel like DDP will do a good job of matching Khamzat in strength. And I feel like DDP, his awkwardness, and once this fight gets past the first round, which I think DDP will be able to survive the first round against Khamzat, I feel like DDP's strength and size will really, really come in clutch, especially in the opening round. And I feel like DDP is just going to take Khamzat Chimaev into deep waters and drown him. I think DDP finishes Khamzat in around later stages of the third, early stages of the fourth. I feel like DDP is a horrible matchup for Khamzat Chimaev. Now, the big question is, can DDP make it out of the first round? Khamzat Chimaev has clearly got like some sort of glitch or some sort of, I don't know what's going on, but this guy seems to be invincible inside the first round. I mean, look at what he done to Robert Whittaker. Look at what he done to Usman in the first round of their fight. I mean, the guy's insane in round one, but he does slow down, and we have seen that time and time again. And DDP, with the will to win that that guy has, and his awkward fight style, plus he's a big, big puncher, I think he's a horrible matchup for Khamzat Chimaev. I want to see this fight make it happen. Next up, we're going to move over to the Blessed Express, Max Holloway. It is what it is, man. We'll see. Find out Saturday night. The BMF champion coming off being knocked out. Yo, shout out to the Christmas bag covers. Anyway, back to the video. Max Holloway just coming off that loss to Ilia Topuria at UFC 308. He's going to stay at lightweight. He is the BMF champion. I think this is the fight to make next. It's Charles Oliveira. I know Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler too. The winner of that was meant to be fighting the winner of Arman Tsarukyan versus Islam. Look, I personally don't want to see Oliveira fight either of those guys right away next. I mean, the Arman Tsarukyan fight was close, so if Arman beats Islam, maybe. But the Islam Makhachev, who I'm picking to beat Arman Tsarukyan, by the way, in their rematch, him versus Oliveira wasn't even close. Like, there's nothing you can watch in that Islam Oliveira first fight and think, oh, if Oliveira does that, he'll beat him. I mean, you can see that in the Arman fight where he caught him nearly in multiple submissions, but there is none of that in the Islam Makhachev fight. Absolutely none of that. I feel like you do Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway 2 for the BMF title. Max Holloway should arguably be fighting. He is arguably one of the top contenders right now. He should be next in line for fighting for the lightweight title, to be honest, anyway. I know he got KO'd by Ilia Topuria, but that was in the featherweight division. Let's not forget, before that, he knocked out Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, who was ranked like number 2 or 3 at the time. So I think you do this, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. It's a rematch years on from their first fight. I think Holloway will beat Oliveira in their rematch, to be honest. I feel like Holloway is just constant pressure and volume. I'm not trying to say Oliveira's still a quitter, because he showed that he's not. He never really was a quitter anyway. But I feel like Max Holloway will just put the pressure on Charles Oliveira and eventually will break him in the later stages. However, Max Holloway's chin has been cracked. Oliveira is a big puncher. And he can grapple. We just seen him grapple really, really good in there against... Really, really good. It was just so shit there. We've seen him grapple amazingly. That's what we're looking for. Against Michael Chandler at UFC 309. Can he do that to Max Holloway? Who knows? I want to know. Let's make the rematch. Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway 2 for the BMF title. And let's see who the next number 1 contender is in the UFC's lightweight division, because they are running out of contenders. And I think this makes sense. Plus, I want to see it. Plus, for the BMF title, like Max Holloway, Oliveira 2 for the BMF title could headline its own card, in my opinion. Both guys are that big. Pause. In name and popularity, I feel like that is a perfect main event. If we need, preferably a co-main event, but you know, if they're going to put Juliana Pena, Kayla Harrison as a main event, let's put Oliveira Holloway for the BMF title. Let's have that main event over that. And finally, John Jones. I wonder who it could be for John Jones. What fight do we need to see? Tom Aspinall. Let's just stop fucking about. You know, we've seen this happen before with the Ngannou John Jones situation. UFC, just pay him. He said he'll fight him for the right money. Just pay him. Pay him the money. If you don't want to pay him the money, reach out to Turkey Al Sheikh. Have Riyadh Season sponsor the event. Go to the Sphere again and put Tom Aspinall, John Jones as the main event. Because I know Dana White and Hunter Campbell are listening to this, so there you go. That's the idea. Tom Aspinall, John Jones, undisputed title fight in the Sphere. Magic. That's money right there. But no, in all seriousness, Tom Aspinall has to fight John Jones next. If they don't make this fight next, the heavyweight division is absolutely destroyed. I don't know how they will recover it if this fight doesn't happen. I think it will happen. John Jones has literally said that he will fight Tom Aspinall for the right price. So just fucking pay the guy. You know, just pay him whatever he wants. 30 million, pay him. 25 million, pay him. 50 million, pay him. 100 million, pay him. I don't care what you have to pay this guy. Pay him to fight Tom Aspinall. And you know what? Tom Aspinall versus John Jones is such a high-level mixed martial arts fight, and it is extremely close as well. I do think Tom Aspinall will beat John Jones. I feel like the stars are aligning for him. I feel like he's much younger. He's coming into his prime. His boxing will give John Jones a lot of problems, because I don't really rate John Jones' striking defense, to be honest. How explosive Tom Aspinall is and the power he carries. I feel like it's all lining up for a Tom Aspinall win, but how good is Tom Aspinall's defensive wrestling? That's what will be exposed in this matchup, because John Jones is one of the better wrestlers right now in the UFC, has been for a very, very long time. And John Jones himself is a good kickboxer. I just don't really rate his defense, because I don't really rate them moving back like this. Although the guy's basically undefeated. I mean, I know he's lost to Matt Hamill, but he's pretty much undefeated, and that striking defense has done in the world of wonders. So maybe John Jones is onto something there. Maybe that is the new technique you need for striking. But yeah, those are 3 fights I want to see next year. DDP, Hamzat, Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway for the BMF title, and John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. These are very basic fights. I mean, I'm sure everyone wants to see these fights. They're kind of obvious ones, but I want to get them out there. I manifested this. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. What do you think of these fights, and who do you think wins? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you again in the next one.